I'm attempting to read my physical TBR by picking books every month from this jar and doing a reading vlog, and I have to either read them or get rid of them, unhaul them. And we're going to be doing 2 in a row. I'm going to do 2 vlogs back to back because the end of year is approaching, so I wanted to combine November and December just so we can do as many of them as possible. It gives me like 2 or 3 days more to focus on this challenge, so we're just going to jump right into it because I am nervous. As always, I am supposed to be allowed to put one back in there. Some months I'm a little bit more loose with my rules. Does it even look like I'm making some progress? I feel like it does, but it's okay. I mean, I get to about like, what, 2 or 3 that are from the jar every month. We're making some progress, and oh no, we haven't picked many, if any, yellow this year, did we? Oh yeah, there's one in there. Those are the ones that I have read or unhauled. So I'm gonna let you look first, so I can't cheat. But I can't read a nonfiction in one go, so I'll probably pick something else to go with it. So are we ready? The timing, oh my god. Okay, I haven't read this one because obviously throughout the year I have been reading some books from the jar. So let me go show you where it is on my shelf. Oh, okay. Okay, so as always, this is my nonfiction shelf plus unhaul. It has to be somewhere. I'm assuming probably on this shelf. Where are you? Where are you? I thought it would be on that shelf because a lot of my feminist books are there, but no, it's right there. And you can see it's on the other side because it's in French, hence the confusion. So there we are. Okay, so this is a nonfiction called Right-Wing Women by Andrea Dworkin. I could not find a copy of this anywhere. It hasn't been republished in years and years and years, and the used copies of it are like $1,000. I'm not going to do that. I know you can read it as a PDF online, but I knew I was going to feel the need to put some post-its, annotate it, maybe. I don't really love writing in my books, but post-its, yes. So I got a French copy. French is my first language, so might as well. This is Les Femmes de Droite. I'm a little nervous to read this, but again, I feel like the timing is a little too perfect. I will probably attempt to like translate some quotes if need be, but yeah, okay, we're gonna try this. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to finish it this week. How long is it? It doesn't, I mean, it's not fiction. Okay, it's 250-ish pages, so I'm gonna read as much of this as possible this week while also reading some fiction so we can actually finish some books because again, nonfiction, it's been a bit much for me this year, but we can do fiction at the same time. Get to work. ASMR. This is pink. What's up with the weird categories this month? Okay, pink is like everything else. Is on the right side. So it could be historical fiction, romance, contemporary, literary fiction, children's book. Did I even show you the right side? I don't even know now. I feel like the jar is playing with me. Okay, La Plage de Stand, which is another French book. I don't understand what's going on, but this is the same author. Let me grab it first just to double check because I bought this, was it last year or the year before? So the classics are here and this is my everything else, and it should be a tiny book unless it's in here. Is it one of those edition? I can't remember what it looks like. No, those are classics, but I thought maybe no. Oh, there you are. Okay. Right? And again, French is flipped. It's so annoying. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I found it. This is from the same author that wrote I, Who Have Never Known Men, which is my favorite book of 2022. It has become super popular. I'm so glad it deserves the hype. And I was curious if she had written anything else that was good, and I found out that basically all the other books were not translated to English, so I do have a French copy of another book, and I just read the back, and I'm not sure it's going to be my thing, but I wanted to try more by her, so I might as well do that. Maybe I'll pick a backup right now, because I don't know if I'm going to have time to film later on this week, but it seems to be about a little girl who falls in love with a man that is way older than her. She's 11 and he's 25. And she decides that he's going to be her man, and said man is going to get married to someone else for money, and she's going to try to get him years later. That does not sound like something I'm going to enjoy, but I had to pick a couple of her books because, again, I wanted to try more by her. So we're going to do that, I guess. And I'm going to struggle to speak English by the end of the week. I'm telling you right now. 300 pages. Okay. You know what? I have a feeling I'm not going to love it. So I'm going to pick it back up because if it goes well, I'll just pick this one after I've finished the other one. We're just going to do everything in one go this week. I'm just feeling it. So I didn't even check purple. Purple is classic. Oh my gosh, what's up with the jar this month? Decided, oh, you wanted to do a bunch in one go? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's Jane Austen. Okay, let me grab that. Okay, so my edition contains a couple of her stories, and I don't know, because yes, there's Lady Susan, which I've already read, so I'm not going to reread it, but there is the Watsons and Sanditon, which I can never remember how to pronounce. I'll look it up. So I have these 2 stories to read, which in total, I don't think take a big portion of the book. Let me just quickly... I don't have to read the middle, basically. So you can see it should be short. So no matter what happens with the other one, I should have time for it. If I don't, like I said, I'm continuing next week. So this is the most random read it, unhaul it I've had to do in a while. I, I don't know what to think. So a nonfiction in French. A book in French that I'm not sure I want to read, but it's from an author I've really loved. So I wanted to try more by her. So like, I picked up what I could find, right? You can see it's kind of, the yellow pages gives it away. And Sanditon, Jane Austen. This is actually my last book. I'm going to be fully done with Jane Austen after. So wish me luck this week. I will update you, but I have no idea how this week is going to go. Maybe I should do my updates in French at that point because I won't speak English by the end of the week. So I will see you later. Let's get comfortable because one, it's cold. It's starting to be under 0 at night. I don't like this. But also I have some news, some good, some bad. Let's start with the first one I did finish, Sanditon. I finished the 2 short stories, so actually Sanditon and then the Watsons at the end. And for some reason, I knew, but I don't know why it didn't click that these 2 are her incomplete novels. So I got to the end, like chapter 11, and I was like, oh, that's true. So that didn't go super well. And then same thing with the second one, but I still have a few opinions to share, so might as well. So the first one, it's about this young girl who will accompany this family who she met. They were on the road, they got into an accident, and she got invited to Sanditon by the Sea to visit. And the themes of the novel seem to be very similar to everything that she usually does, wealth, class, and in that case, health, which I had put 3 post-its, which might as well discuss them because it makes me laugh because I feel like sometimes certain things stand out in a book and it makes you think about something else, especially classic comparing to nowadays. So the first one I had put, basically they got lost. They went to the wrong place because they had only noticed the advertisement in the newspaper within the last half hour before leaving. And it made me think about how these people would not be able to cope with how fast information is nowadays, because being in a rush in half an hour is like, it doesn't compute in my head. I feel like everything is so quick nowadays, but the real actual point is about page 13 in my edition. So Mr. Parker is talking about Sanditon to the people he just met after getting into the accident. And he's saying, he held it indeed as certain that no person could really be well, no person could be really in a state of secure and permanent health without spending at least 6 weeks by the sea every year. Well, Mr. Parker, I am willing to test this. So if you guys want to... Listen, my life would be better if I were to spend 6 weeks by the sea every year. First off, that means time off. Not everyone has 6 weeks of time off. And then to just spend it by the sea, quietly, reading books, yeah, I would feel better. I'm willing to test it. But back in the day, I'm assuming that people felt better because probably less air pollution by the sea and some vitamin D, possibly, and just less depressing than the life that they lived. I feel like women probably had a little bit more freedom by the sea. Maybe it's just in my head. The last point I wanted to discuss is about health, especially the female characters, because so many of them are frail in this book, and it's in so many books, they're always fainting, their nerves, and it makes you think that nowadays we probably use different terms for that. I know they had like consumption, like TB, and they probably had malnutrition, anemia, and that would explain some of the fainting, probably some undiagnosed autoimmune diseases, not that we get much more diagnoses nowadays. And also, like, just in general, like PCOS, endometriosis, or like depression, because again, lack of freedom, or just depression after giving birth, or just being stuck in that life. I feel like I would be depressed if I had to live my period every month without any painkillers. I would also have fragile nerves and I would spend it that week in bed. So yeah, that's that was basically what stuck out to me because again, 11 chapters, we barely had a chance to meet the characters. And the Watson, I felt like it felt even shorter. It's going to be once again similar themes, the classic, the main female character lived with her rich aunt and she got remarried, so she goes back to her family and they're poor and she's dealing with that. The only thing that really stood out to me is the fact that one, the characters' name are all the same. Was it the case back in the day? There were like 10 names to choose from because so many Janes, Emma, and Elizabeth. So the main character is Emma and her older sister is Elizabeth. And Elizabeth, you know, is probably going to become a spinster. And I'm assuming Emma would have met someone, but we didn't get to that part. So it was fine. I still love her writing. I still love the humor, but it was just a few chapters, so did not get to really enjoy myself that much. Like, it was fine. No hard feelings. I don't know how to rate this because I can't really give it more than like 3.5 because they're just incomplete, which makes sense. Okay. The nonfiction I didn't even bring here because I've only made a little progress. To be honest, I feel like nonfiction in general, I have been reading just a few pages a day and I go through phases, so chances are I won't make that much progress in it. I do still want to read it. I just don't know if it's going to happen for this vlog, which, fair enough. I feel like this is a classic and a nonfiction. Like, it's too much for one vlog. And now, let's talk about this one. This is La Plage d'Ostende, which I'm going to be real with you. I should have put it back in there right away as soon as I read the back because I'm not feeling it. And I'm allowed. It's part of the rules, the official rules. I'm not even cheating that once a month or once a challenge, I'm allowed to put one back in there. And I'm going to do that with this because honestly, the fact that it starts with the sentence, Dès que je le vis, je sus que Léopold m'appartiendrait. J'avais 11 ans, il en avait 25. No. Basically, love at first sight. She saw that man when she was 11. He was 25, and she's like, yeah, that's my man. No. I will still eventually read this, I'm sure, but come on. Come on, I can't do that. So we're going to put, where is it? The little paperback in the jar. But this one, I'm not going to wait till the end. Sometimes I forget. So, yay! Which means I have to pick another one. As always, the freaking jar. I don't want to. If it's a classic or a nonfiction, it goes back directly. I don't even look, okay? Because, let's be real, I cannot. Oh. It's okay, okay. You would think I would be getting used to this and like not be so nervous, but I am so nervous about this. So, is my microphone on? Yes. I have these moments. It has happened, to be fair. So hopefully, I don't even know what side. That is totally fine. I'm actually happy about this. Okay. It's a big one, but I was in the middle of it. This is actually part of my pile of shame. This is going to be a good thing. Okay, let's grab it. I don't know if I said it, but green is fantasy. So this is a Brandon Sanderson's book. So it should be. Oh yeah, I can see it. Ooh, there you go. I'll see. I was halfway through it. So yay. Okay, I'm totally okay with this. I will have to double check that I was really there. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's why there's the, just remove this. So Arcanum Unbounded, which is a short story collection by Brandon Sanderson. And I know you have to have read till a certain spot to be able to read them. And I had put these enormous post-its with the names, and I have read far enough. So I can actually finish the second half. I think I could almost, well, I could have read a bit more, but I just didn't. So this is where I was at. There was this much left, and I could only read this much more before having to wait until I finished the second book in the Stormlight Archive series, which I have read. So I can read the last, how many pages is that? From 400 till 7, a little less. So I have about 300 pages I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish it before the end of vlog. We're going to try to make that happen. But I'm actually, this is good. Okay. I was so nervous. I feel like it hasn't been going well this week. Just because I kept wanting to read the French book. And I even started with the Jane Austen one, which felt like cheating. But like, I just really wanted to finish something and feel satisfied. And we're just, you know, focusing on that. So that's done. That's not done. That's what I have to read. I do have one more update because I did finish an audiobook. For some reason, I have been going through audiobooks really fast lately. I finished 2 in the last week. And during this vlog, I did finish Incidents Around the House by Jane. Oh, see, this is what happened. I warned you that if I read in French, I would lose my English. So it's Sajar's fault. So Incidents Around the House by Josh Malaman. This is going to be my last book by him. I am done. No hard feelings, kind of hard feelings. This is horror. And I thought I was going to overall enjoy this because I do like horror, kind of haunted stories. But then I started the audiobook and I'm going to make it play for you, okay? I'm going to put it at 1 speed, which I never listened to that speed, but I want you to just feel this, okay? Instantly.
Good night, Dado. Good night, Mommy. Mommy and Dado leave my room.
This is the narration for 95% of the book. I understand that it is from the point of view of the child. I get that. But that voice. So I did go through it, though. I did listen to it at like 1.5 and then started increasing. The story per se is actually fine. But there were even moments I was uncomfortable. Like if a cat was making noise at night when I was getting unready or something. Yeah, it worked. But at the same time, it was just okay. Basically, this child is being haunted by other mommy from the wardrobe. So yeah, things get crazier and crazier, and it was fine. It was totally fine. But yeah, the audiobook, don't do it to yourself. Unless you heard that and you're like, that is cool. Then okay, but otherwise don't do the audiobook. That's my 2 cents here. And I think that's it for reading. Actually, okay, this is just funny because it made me laugh. So the camera is indeed focusing. The cover though is just completely unfocused. It's pixelated. I have been trying to get some classics in the edition that I do like. This is the Penguin Classic, or it should be, but now I notice that it doesn't say Penguin Classic here. They just took a tiny picture, made it bigger without realizing or caring that it's out of focus or pixelated, and they printed it. There's no page number. It's like homemade. I got my money back, so it's fine. I don't know if that edition is complete or not. I'm gonna have to buy another one. Anyway, so I have this. It might make it to like a little library or something because I can't read this, right? I was so confused when I got this. I was like, why is it so pixelated? Anyway, that's the update. I think that's it. I did bring the Christmas tree. It's right there staring at me. I do need to build it. And I even actually, I don't know if you can see, I switched my fall leaves for the Christmassy ones, so it's coming. But I know that the second I bring up the tree or build it, the cats cannot come in this room again because last year there were too many cats climbing the tree and just the tree did this with Claudia, so we don't want that. Anyway, that's where we're at. I'm going to continue the nonfiction kinda, but mostly I will be focusing on this because I want to finish a second book. This would feel actually really satisfying because it is Pile of Shame. It is fantasy. I've been struggling with fantasy. And technically, since this one is a short story from that same universe, that would count as continuing a series. I feel like it took me forever, but I finished it. I didn't have that many pages left, let's be honest, but this had been on my pile of shame. I looked. So I think it was March of 2022. So it's been 2.5 years. So considering I didn't do the challenge this year of reading books from the pile of shame, I guess I kind of ended up doing it accidentally with this challenge. But I feel like as much as we started kind of rough this week, we finished on a good note since I finished not only this book, but the audiobook I was mentioning. And I started another one, which I'll mention in a second, but I I'm halfway through Anibot, which was a recommendation by you guys. But let's start with Arcanum Unbounded. I love the cosmic universe. I think it's really interesting to see how all these planets, in this solar system have all different magic system and things, will eventually converge. I appreciate this. I do feel extremely overwhelmed by all of this. I don't feel I would have to dedicate like full-time job reading about it. I feel really fully get it, and I feel like there would still be like Easter eggs everywhere. I know you can look it up online, but I haven't. I'm still not done, so I feel like there's not really a point for me. But I feel like reading short stories in general back to back doesn't really work for me. I'm finally kind of accepting it. To be fair, sometimes it does. And I did, like in isolation, enjoy these. It's not squeezing. Cooperate. I'm almost done, but I'm not ready to cut it open. It's kind of working. There you go. So reading them back to back never really worked for me. Like they were good. Like for example, well, there's the last story, Etched and Sir, and there's the story, which I appreciate the afterword, by the way, of you was writing a story, or everyone for that anthology were writing a story about dangerous women, and you didn't want to write the same thing as everyone else, so you went with like a middle-aged woman, which I appreciate. Again, not only following young female characters all the time, and she felt different from other ones, and again, the world building was really interesting. So as much as I appreciate the stories on their own, I feel like at this point, again, I'm accepting that reading them back to back is just too overwhelming for me. I just feel the need to read, like I read a certain amount usually every day, and doing that with short story collections, just, yeah, like I said, it overwhelms me. So I overall enjoy this, at least for what I remember, because again, the first half I read 2.5 years ago. Oh my gosh, I feel like lately I've been doing a lot of videos that make me realize that I am terrible at finishing what I start. Like when I've been doing my videos going back and looking at my best book, choosing my #1 best book for each year, because I wasn't doing it when I first started doing Booktube, it made me realize that so many series I started like 4 years ago and I have yet to finish them, which is just terrible. So I will make it my mission, I think, in 2025 to try and catch up as much as possible and just finish as many series as possible, and maybe complete some of the books that are part of my pile of shame. I'm still learning to just give up on things, but this one I didn't want to give up. I knew that I needed to at least finish Starmite Archive until book 2 to be able to finish this one. So like I knew I couldn't actually binge read it, but I need to get better. I have things to work on, clearly. Anyway, now the audiobook I wanted to mention. Listen, this was part of the Goodreads Choice Award. I was looking at the nominees, and I didn't mention that one as something that was appealing to me that I was planning on reading. This is sci-fi. But a few of you commented that it's actually really good. So I looked at the description and I was not convinced because it's following like robot think artificial intelligence, and it's like a female robot, and it's a man that owns her, and like it's going to be exactly what you think it is. So I wasn't going to read that, but I think the author's a woman, and a lot of you told me that it was really good. So I skeptically got it or added it to my library waiting list as an audiobook, and it got available like the second I finished the other one I was reading. So I decided, you know what the heck, I'm gonna just start it. And I went through it pretty fast because frankly I've been finding more time to listen to audiobook than actually sit down and read books, especially since short story collection. But I went through the first half really quickly, and I put it down last night, and I haven't picked it up today because I found it really difficult to digest. It sounds like it's going to finally start to be more like, messages, the actual conversation we're supposed to be having with that book. But at that point, it still felt like a fantasy corn. Like she's starting to gain consciousness and freedom, and like she's obviously in a toxic relationship or, or owner, whatever. So I'm not really feeling it. She's, fighting for that freedom, but I'm hoping that things will pick up very fast, because otherwise I'm not going to finish it. I'm trying to, again, respect when I'm not feeling a book so I don't get in a reading slump, which I'm kind of arguably a little bit in one right now. And I'm not sure it's for me. So like I said, it better quickly pick up, because I'm this close to giving up on it, about halfway through it. So I feel like this week went okay, considering. We're just going to pretend the French books did not happen because clearly that didn't work out for me. Actually, you know what? We're going to go and put them back in the big jar because... And I did finish this one. Did I finish something else? What's the other one I finished? I completely forgot. Whoa. It's been a long week. I finished another one, right? We're going to go put those ones in the tiny jar because that happened. And I finished an audiobook, so like not everything was lost, but it's been a long week. I feel like I've been just doing too much by posting so many videos, but the end of the year is approaching and I have a lot to do, so I really want to get around to doing all of that, and then we'll take a break in February or end of January. The next vlog is still going to be Read It, Unhaul It. I want to do them back to back, and the first half went okay. It went okay. But I mean, you know, I still feel like it was successful because this was part of Pile of Shame. And like, yeah, I didn't read the whole thing this week, but I finished it. So it still feels satisfying. I'm still going to put it on my Goodreads Just a Word reading challenge as one book, because at one point I read the first half and didn't count it. So let's go put those in the jar. I'm curious now. What's the other book I finished? I can't remember. I had to go fish in the thing to remember. Yes, and didn't. I finished 2 great books. Okay, we're good. We're good. So now I'm adding also this one in here, and this one has to go back in the big one. I'm not reading this week. There it is. So going back. So yeah, not a bad week. Finished 2 great books. We're ignoring the 2 French ones, and we're gonna continue. I'm gonna pick some more today, and we're gonna keep going. Hopefully the jar is nicer next week. I could have kept actually the nonfiction, now that I think about it, and continue next week, but I don't have the brain power at the moment, and that's okay. So I'll see you then. Bye.